Hi everyone, it's Raina. So this video is for those people who have their sun in Pisces and their moon in Libra. Recently I did a video for those who have their sun in Libra and their moon in Pisces, and you would think that it might be almost identical, but it's not. I'm just doing this off the top of my head and I haven't thought much about it at all before I press the record button. I like to do these just completely extemporaneously, if that's the word you have to use. And so, first and foremost, the sun is our aspirational self. So, it really does connect to who we want to be, the light we want to shine on the world. And so, there's like that masculine quality with the sun. The sun relates to the father energy or the male energy, and the moon the mother or the female, the feminine. And so the masculine sun is outwards, and so it's directing your energy towards the outer world, whereas the moon is your inner nature. And so that's going to always, the moon is always going to be more hidden, and the sun wants to project outwards that whatever that energy is. However, we have a bit of a challenge here because the sun is in a feminine sign. The sun is in Pisces. And then add to that the fact that Pisces rules the 12th house, which is the house of contemplation and the hidden, the monastery, the monk's life, the hermit, the hermitage. It's not this extroverted type of vibe. So there's already complications with that. How do you do that if you are a sun in Pisces? Now, add to that one of the things that the sun represents is your identity. What your core self in this lifetime. Obviously, this is not your ultimate self because your soul isn't a Pisces. Unless you don't believe in reincarnation, but even if you just believe in one lifetime, you only live a certain amount of years on this earth. So what you came to express as a Pisces, and what those values are or those interests are, that's true for any sun sign. However, with Pisces, there's because Pisces is ruled by Neptune, there's always that sense of who am I, that identity crisis. And I always say that the sun is the healthy ego because the ego gets a bad rap. We think of narcissism. We think of somebody who's self-absorbed. But the ego is about identity. People who claim to be egoless sometimes may simply be trying to please others and not really tune into themselves and their individuality. And that's another good keyword for the sun is individuality. And because Pisces rules the 12th house, which is the collective soul, or you could say, the 11th house that Aquarius rules is the collective as it pertains to humanity as a whole, but on the earthbound level, the population, the populace, the 12th house is on the soul level. The fact that we are all one. When they talk about merging with Brahman, it's like we are all one. And yet we come to this world as individuals. If a person is incapable of holding both of these truths in their mind at once, they can have a rigidity, a limitation, and that kind of thing. And so it's very important to be able to embrace that so you can fully grasp what the 12th house represents. And those of you who do have this combination, you may feel as if you're looking for someone or something to define you. And this is where it gets tricky and interesting at the same time. Because your moon is in Libra, you are a very romantic person. And actually, Pisces is a very romantic person too. And so you may search for your identity through another person. Can't do that because that person, it's like the moon reflects. The moon is not, it's almost like an illusion in a sense. It can't, it's like if, that Zen koan, if a tree falls, nobody is there to see it. Did it really fall? Is the moon really showing you who you are, or is it just bouncing off what you have shown to it? And it's not giving you yourself. Nobody can give to you who you are. They have their own ideas of who you are. There's always going to be distortions coming from other people, so you can't rely on other people to bolster your self-esteem, to define you, and that includes children, spouses, and things like that. And yet you may especially gravitate towards romantic relationships in thinking that that will complete you. And this can lead to codependency. This can lead to wanting to keep a relationship going at all costs. This can make you very, on the positive side, very artistic, inspired in this way. What you have to be careful of is that you don't go from one relationship to the next looking for that kind of companionship. Really is what you're looking for. But because you're a Pisces, there can be this fickle quality, mutable sign. And even as a water sign, which is so emotional and so personal, there's still that mutability factor that can make you change. And it's not so much that you would fall out of love with somebody, but it's like that song, was it by Stephen Stills, Love the One You're With? Because Pisces is very impressionable and it tends to kind of go wherever it finds itself. Go with whatever it finds itself doing, and not have its own separate way of approaching things, but just kind of going with the flow. Well, going with the flow is really great, but you don't want to flow away somewhere that you can't, swim back. You want to be, you want to have that ability to kind of flow and let go of control, but not let it just, sweep you out on a current that you can't come back on. So don't let anything go too far in one direction, in other words. And one of the things that can come up with this combination is a real desire a real feeling that you have to keep the peace. And this can come from your childhood. If you grew up in an emotionally tense environment, or even worse than tense, maybe there was a lot of emotional chaos. And this can, actually, in terms of this as a combination, can actually be good in the sense that for a Pisces sun sign, that even if you did grow up with some kind of dysfunction, having the moon in Libra can make you more resilient emotionally because Libra is an air sign. So even more so perhaps than the person who has the sun in Libra and the moon in Pisces, because the moon is already considered this emotional influence, it can really overtake that sun in Libra, because the person has a very, maybe has had trauma in their past, as well as just is very empathic, and they have a tendency to take on the emotions of those around them. And this reversed combination, I feel like it can be of benefit to the Sun in Pisces individual to have the moon in an air sign like Libra. You may have talent in music, in and I'm speaking specifically of composing music. You may have talent in poetry. There's just that you may have a strong aesthetic. Is that how you say it? Where you just, yeah, maybe it's even with painting, and you have very harmonious color schemes in whatever it is that you're doing. But I think Neptune rules photography, so maybe if you're somebody who is into cinematography, or just taking pictures even as a hobby, you might just gravitate towards that because you love anything that conveys beauty in this world. Maybe modeling pictures, because it always presents an illusion. But let me think of other things I can say about this. There's a sense of, with this combination of fairness, justice, social justice. So you may get immersed in causes, maybe you volunteer your time even, or gravitate towards professions where you're helping the least of these, because your emotional, that moon is tugging at the issue of equality, really, and wanting others to not suffer. That's what Pisces is, the martyr, but in a positive sense of really sacrificing the self, because again, Pisces doesn't come from the position of the self and needing that. Most Pisces people are humble people, and they don't seek self-aggrandizement. They're not looking for to be, a big shot, even if they're in the entertainment field and they love to be on stage. It's really to cast those illusions, to kind of charm or bewitch the audience, to kind of elevate them. And there could be like a spiritual goal behind what it is that they do. And so this is a gentle combination, and it can be very wishy-washy, and that can irritate the heck out of other people, because They're like, can't you decide on anything? Is everything, are you always agonizing about your decisions? And I would guess that these people would say, yeah, because there's this, I think with the sun being here, there's this tendency to second guess oneself, to not feel like what you're, and this can even be, especially when it comes to promoting yourself, since Pisces is in the sun position, you might be feeling guilty if you do things that are for you specifically, for your future, for your success in the world. You may feel like, is it really okay for me to want this? Like an example would be if, let's say, you want to move away. Let's say you're in high school, and you want to go to college, and you want to go across the country or to another country for schooling, and you have a parent who is saying that they want you to be close to home, and yet your heart is really set on doing that, about moving away. Or maybe you're a college graduate and you want to take a job that is far away, and you kind of like might feel that you don't really have the right to your own life, that you have to sacrifice for others. And this may be a hard lesson for you to learn, or a bitter pill to swallow, that it really isn't appropriate for other people, even one's own parents, to dictate your decisions. They had you for 18 years, and now it's time for you to carve your own path, to blaze your own trail, so to say. So anyway, I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.